Um, Everyone in the Black community warned us about situations that's going to happen, and this is a really good example. To sit this one out, um, I'm getting like mixed, thoughts and feelings from the Black community. Some of them say, I like to sit this one out, while others, want to be the also, stand by in solidarity for the immigrant community. And basically, I like to know from our friendlies, what are your thoughts, on sitting this one out? That's question number one.
Hmm.
And number two on the my answer is that because I said this in Smitty's live before, that we have to hold ourselves accountable for not acknowledging what the Black community has done for the immigrant community, or for everybody really. Warned us about what has happened, with racial profiling, and dealing with immigration with ICE, with the family schmurders in their Black community. So
Hmm.
I have to acknowledge that, and that's something that I've learned over the past several months with the Black community.
Hmm.
And number two, with Gemini, this guy is spreading a lot of misinformation, and basically this is what Trump supporters do. They do a lot of talking points to fit their narrative. So it's like, if I were you, I would just do a lot of research, and before you come up on these panels.
Okay. All right. Hey, thank you, Club J. Go ahead, Daniel, if you want to respond to that real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah, yeah.
and then I want to let equal universe get a final comment in,
I'm,
and then I want to talk. I'll mention a little bit to what Club J said as well. Go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
and even when I brought up the Haitians, like and she was saying that we're destabilizable, we'll destabilize their country, and they don't have no colonized. Like,
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing about it though. Yes, do you know how many Haitians who I came across who do have a colonized mindset, who think the white man can do no wrong? I've come across many Black immigrants in this country who say the white man and the government can do no wrong. So we cannot have no unity when you guys want to emulate the colonizer in every shape and form that you are doing and things like that. I have to just say it one more time though. You can follow me. I can share these panels though. I was just on a panel with anti-Africans, anti-Somalians or whatever, or
Knowledge.
Nigerians though, talking crap about Black Americans and things like that
Mm-hmm.
though. And you Africans don't check these anti
Thank you, Heather.
Black mofos in your community. I am just so sick of it. I'm just so sick of it though. Black Americans, we are tired of being people's punching bag.
Okay.
We
Let me
that's okay.
let me jump in and say something to what you're saying, Daniel, real quick. I don't necessarily disagree with the anger that you're exhibiting, in the sense that, listen, if we're gonna keep it real, right? I think that most of us do have some level of frustration with all immigrant groups. At the same time, we do have to recognize the real source of why that's happening. So I'm not gonna sit up here and ever cape for people that are dissing, us as Black Americans. Never. Like, that's just wrong. Well, if you're on a panel and they dissing us and they're denigrating Dr. King and Malcolm X, whatever it may, that's wrong. There's no two ways about it. I would never do that. At the same time, we also do have to look and see why this is happening, and why that propaganda has been spreading to those communities too. Now, let me do this. Let me bring in Equalizer. Go ahead, fam. Get a final comment in, and then I'm gonna bring up a couple of other folks as well. Go ahead. Go ahead. Equalizer, you want to say something?
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
Um, this is what I've been essentially saying, and because I'm hearing a lot of the commentary regarding all the situations that we're discussing, people are dealing with the symptoms. Okay, they're not dealing with the cause. All right, and until we remedy the cause, the symptoms are going to continue popping up. And so when we talk about ICE, when we talk about police, when we talk about anything, what does it come from? Essentially, our power in this world is to make choices. So it doesn't matter what the policies are, what your training is. When you're in this situation, what you're going to do is you're going to make a choice. And what is that choice going to be based on? It's going to be based on your moral compass. And what is your moral compass based on? It's going to be your moral compass is based on whether I value you as a human being or not. Whether I view and value you as a human being or not. Okay? And so if you are operating from a space where you do not value me as a human being, then that is going to drive your choice, despite your training and all this other stuff. And so there are three questions that I ask when I'm doing training and seminars. Can you love what you don't value? Yourself and your neighbor included. Number two, will you protect what you don't value? Yourself and your neighbor included. And the third question is, will you invest in and build what you don't value? Yourself and your neighbor included. So my point is that in order for us to get to safety, in order for us to get to respect, in order for us to get to solutions to all of these problems that are plaguing us as a society, they have to come from a value origin in order to produce a value outcome. Safety is a value outcome. Unsafety is a value absent outcome. And so the only way that I can produce safety in society is to have safety in my relationship with myself. Valuing my intrinsic, seeing the ability to see my intrinsic value, okay, and to embrace it and to experience it. It's like having eyes. What do your eyes allow you to do? They allow you to see yourself, but they also allow you to see me. So until I can exist in a space to where I am experiencing, where I understand, where I know, where I can experience the value in.
You on time, brother. I hate to cut you.
And I'm landing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then I have no capability. My ability to see the value in other people is always going to be at some level of risk.
I appreciate you, Equal Universe, always bringing that top level knowledge. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming up, brother. All right.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, you got it. All right. Let me go real quick. Let me just take a look. If we have one more person that does support ICE, I know last time we did a poll, there are quite a few people that do support ICE in the comments. If you're in the requests and you do support ICE, I do want to let you get this last box. I'm only going to 6 today, guys. I'm not going to do 8. So 8 panelists. I'm only doing 6 today. So again, if you're in the request and you support ICE, put a 1 so I know to bring you up to get that last spot. All right, but let's keep it respectful, please. Let's let the panelists finish their statements, right? As you can see, I'm giving folks equal time, and we're gonna have less panelists, so you're gonna get more of an opportunity to speak. Kim, I think you wanted to say something. Then I'm gonna go to Nichelle and Catalina.
I do support ICE, by the way.
Yes, no, we got you, Daniel. Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, I get my 2 minutes now.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I just want to ask Daniel, do you think that Black Americans are anti-Black?
Do I think Black Americans are anti-Black? Yes and no. Not to the extent of Black immigrants and other Africans. Like
How do you measure that?
we got our Kanye Wests and our Candace Owenses though. I don't think the numbers are really too big though. But every time I turn around when there's a conservative Black person on TikTok spilling out anti-Black rhetoric, they got some sort of Caribbean or African ancestry and things like that. They were either an immigrant born in their country or they were moved out here and things like that.
That's not necessarily true because we met a lot of people that are anti-Black who aren't.
That you believe
hold on,
it.
No, that was the only question I asked you. Thank you. Also, I just wanted to say, because you were sitting there saying, when are these people, from different countries helping us out or whatever, like that's funny because literally in the civil rights movement, we had quite a few people who were from the Caribbean who literally helped out, which were Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier, Shirley Chisholm, Stokely Carmichael. Like, for so many people who are Black Americans to sit here and say that people from other countries didn't do anything to help is problematic. Like, I think that's weird when people do stuff like that. Do we know that we have anti-Blackness when it comes to the diaspora? Yes, that's always been a thing that we have always had. But to sit here and just say, well, I don't like them because they're not doing this, or why are they not out here doing that? Well, I'm sorry, but as somebody who is Caribbean American, we don't have letters on our foreheads to let you know that we are from the Caribbean. So how do you know who is out there fighting and who is not out there fighting? Because there are quite a few people who are black who happen to be out there. Are there other black people who are saying, I'm sitting this one out? Yes, they are. I don't knock them as well. If they're going to sit out because of history and how they don't want to be on the front lines because we know that we've always been targeted, then I mean, I understand that. But to sit there and say that I don't see them out there, how do you know that you don't see them out there? Because I don't know what someone looks like depending on like where they're from. I'm not going to look at you and be like, oh, you must be Ethiopian. Oh, look at you. You must be Guyanese. Like, there's no such thing. I'm a little confused as to why you're sitting here saying,
Okay.
why nobody out here fighting or whatever like that. That just
Let's
seems a little weird.
Can
go
I
ahead,
come
Daniel. I'll
off?
give you a minute. Go ahead,
Can
and then
I
we'll go to
address?
Michelle.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey,
Let's
can
go
one of the
Daniel for a
mods
minute.
get
Michelle, Carolina.
Hey,
can
I'm
one of the
trying.
mods get the guy in the comment section? He Chrono Rising. He was calling Kim all types of B words while she was talking and tether this and tether that. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
thank you, Caroline. Let me
Gotcha.
as a mod. Let me reset this for a second. Good morning, Smitty.
Good morning.
Sorry to come off the mic like this. This is getting kind of crazy. Chill in the chats with the personal attacks. That's number one. We've already had to mute people. Okay, and we don't like to do that, but we will. Okay. Number two, just a reminder, it's 2 minutes for an open, 2 minutes for a close, and 1 minute for a response. So I understand that we want to have like a conversational back and forth, but that makes it really difficult with the timers. So, and no talking over each other, please. And lastly, let's get the likes up. We're at 160 K likes. I see a lot of you all are in the chat. You repeatedly, which we love, you come into onto these lives, but you haven't clicked your orange heart, or maybe you haven't followed. I can tell that because you don't have the little orange bar by your name showing that you've done the orange heart. So I know these conversations get really engaging, but if we could support the host to help him grow, that would really be appreciated. And also share out the live, please. Don't spam share, like share it to 5 people, but let's get the shares up as well.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Daniel. I'll give you a minute, and then we'll go back to Michelle, Carolina, and then Tony.
And I also want to make this clear. I'm not FBA. I don't knock down the movement, though, but I'm not FBA, but I do identify as a Black American, though. I don't claim no African, no Congo, or whatever you want to call ancestry. I'm a Black American born and raised in America, so that's who I identify as in this country. But to just say, like, you can't look at somebody that protests and can't tell that they're from this region or they're African or Nigerian or whatever and things like that. You could pull out your flag and say, I'm African or I'm Nigerian or I'm Somalian or I'm Haitian. I got my flag out here and I'm fighting for Black American or Black and brown unity and freedom and things like that. All right, though. I don't do individuals, though. The African community as a whole in this country, we do have an African population or a Caribbean Black population in this country, has never come out with their flags and say, we're going to let the Black community know that we stand with y'all and we're here to stay. Y'all have never really done that. Forget MLK days, though, 2025, the last 15 years, y'all have never done that and things like that. Why do you think Asian kids don't get unalived by cops? Why do you think Middle Eastern kids don't get unalived by cops? Even with the war on terror, Middle Eastern kids don't get unalived by cops because they have a country that will show up and show out if America disrespects any one of the international citizens. They can fuck around with Black Americans because we don't got no country to stand up for us, though. So the motherland spits on us every single day.
Good time, brother. All right, let me go to Michelle, Carolina, and then Tony. Michelle, go ahead. 2 minutes, fam.
Again, good morning. Real quick, I was trying to find that article. What was the startling admission that ended the case?
Oh, I can do that real quick. So if you guys remember, 7 days after what happened to Renee Good, there was an altercation between 2 Venezuelan men and some ICE agents. There were charges brought to these 2 Venezuelan men, right? ICE agent had to discharge his weapon, pew the Venezuelan man in the leg. Charges were brought for assault against the 2 Venezuelan men. And then the case kind of got quiet, right? Didn't really hear a lot about it. Well, basically, the government has decided to drop the case against those 2 people because the 2 ICE agents lied under oath to the government. And so the government had to drop the case. So that's a startling admission that the 2 ICE agents lied to the government. So,
oh, wow. What was the lie? What was the lie?
Basically, the trying to validate the discharge of the weapon. And so there was video evidence that came out and basically showed that what the agents were saying was basically lying.
Interesting. And yet here we are talking about black and brown unity again. And Daniel, I heard you say very proudly that you support ICE. Well, I don't support what ICE is doing. I don't support it at all. I think they need to be demolished, in my opinion. What concerns me here, and Smitty, I'm so glad that you spoke to, the pain point, I guess, of what Daniel was saying. But again, the problem that I have here is painting communities with a broad stroke, right? As Black people, that happens to us all the time.
Thank you, man.
You would think that we would be a little bit more sensitive to it when it's happening to other communities. I saw a lot of people in the chat, mentioning that we're not a monolith, and that's true. That is true. But for, every bad interaction, right, there's 15 more positive ones, right? And so this idea that somehow, and I believe that you can still have pride in your community, right? I was thrilled to see all of the flags being shown at the Super Bowl, at the American apple pie, as Megyn Kelly wants to call it, quintessential halftime Super Bowl halftime show. I was glad to see all of the different the different flags being waved, because I know what it's like to feel like our culture here in America is being appropriated, cosplayed all the time, and then turn around and made fun of. I understand that. What I can't get my mind around, and I put this in the chat, it's like after these interactions that Daniel has had with us, he hasn't grown not one single bit in his thought process. And that worries me, because it's like, are you just here to be a chaos agent and just something and somebody to argue with, or are you really wanting to kind of learn something and grow? So that's my opening statement.
All right, Daniel, you get a minute in the show mention you. Go ahead.
Well, part of William's apologies if I come across a little bit aggressive, though. Like I just said earlier, because I don't know if you came in or not, though. I just got off a panel of Africans bashing Black Americans, so I'm a little heated off of that panel just now, though. So I'm fresh off of that mindset, though. But then we just have to still keep in mind what I just want from these conversations is for there to just be a separate thing, though. Black Americans, we fight for this. Africans, y'all fight for this. And I do come up in here to educate my people, and maybe we can find some leeway in this conversation that we don't need to be trying to stop ICE, and we don't really need to get involved into this immigrant thing, though, because we're all different with different beliefs and ideology. Until the diaspora war ends, we should go our separate ways and fight for our own communities. The conversation I just had with them Africans on the last panel woke me up that we are never going to get along as people.
But Daniel, real quick, but don't you feel like, right? Listen, I'm not going to defend those people. I wasn't there, but I will 100% take your word from it that they said problematic things. But doesn't that, right, and basing that off of even, let's say 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, I can easily point to 50 of us that say that some of the most out-of-pocket stuff that you can, Larry Elder, right, or Candace Owens, or Tim Scott, or Byron Donalds. It's easy to come up with 50 of us that say some absolute nonsense, right? So my point is, should we not be generalizing an entire community based off of, what some knuckleheads say, I guess, for lack of a better word? And let me. What do you think about that? Then I want to let Carolina and Tony get in.
I mean, here's the thing. We got our Candace Owenses and our Kanye Wests and things like that, though. We drag them mofos every single day. Every single day. Every single day. I have still yet to see an African address another African, or a Haitian address another Haitian, like stop with the anti-blackness and tap dancing for the white man and things like that. You're making all of us here look bad. Until that happens, then we got to go our separate ways. I see Black people every single day dragging our Candace Owenses and our Kanye Wests. But the other Black people on the diaspora can't do stuff like that. Talk to an African, like we got a couple of Africans. Well, I think Swan, she I don't know. I didn't see your flag though. Oh, hold on, wait, somebody just came in.
Okay, let me do this, Daniel. Why don't you stay on mute for a second? Let me let Kim come in for a minute, and then I want to go to Carolina and Tony.
I think that's problematic to sit there and say that you've never seen somebody for the Caribbean or Africa correct anybody, because literally seen it multiple times, been on multiple panels. Many will tell you I came up here to address somebody who was Jamaican, It happens all the time. Me and Swan do it constantly on her panel, on other panels or whatever like that. So you sitting there, it might be the rooms that you are visiting, but it is constantly being done. Anti-blackness is not something that anybody tolerates unless you are anti-black yourself. We literally drag people all day long who happen to come from the diaspora all day long. You just don't see it. You might want to change the rooms that you're visiting.
Thank you, Kim. All right, let's go to Catalina. 2 minutes. Go ahead, Catalina. 2 minutes.
I know I can. Swan said she wanted to say something real quick because I think he said something about where she's from.
Oh, okay. Go ahead,
She can go
Swan.
and then I'll go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I get really frustrated with FBA because this is like, it's like y'all just have this like test of blackness. So I was joking earlier when I said I'm from Wakanda. It was a joke, but Gemini went off, didn't realize it was just a joke.
I know that. I
Yeah,
knew
but
that.
hold on. Can you not, please? I don't understand what the hell your problem is. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually infuriating that you keep on doing that. I have a lineage to chattel slavery. The plantation that my ancestors were enslaved on still stands today in North Carolina. I am a Black American, an African American person, right? That's on my father's side. My mother, born in Puerto Rico. But it doesn't change anything. It does not change anything. The part the part of this conversation that doesn't make any sense to me, right, is the fact that y'all, even though you've met some people that have rubbed you the wrong way, are okay with the harm happening to them. I could get cursed out by an African person, right? That does not mean that I think it's okay for ICE agents to treat them in a particular way. It doesn't. The problem is that you have these institutions that don't see the humanity in any of us. Nobody's asking you to get up and fight. Nobody's asking for you to do any of those things. And yes, we agree with you. It's not fair that you went through what you went through when you were on that panel. But that doesn't mean that we should wish harm upon others. Because if you open that door for the harm to be allowed to those people because they're from Africa or because they're from another country, you open the door and allow the harm to come to you as well. I wouldn't wish this shit on my worst enemy. Get it together.
Thank you, Swan. Appreciate that. Let me go to Carolina. 2 minutes.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, hermana.
Good afternoon. So shout out first of all to everybody who sent me the live and was like, "Hey, get in here. Why are you not in here?" All I was doing was taking a nap, y'all. Like, I won't take a nap again. My bad. But this is what I'm about to cook. So this is probably why y'all wanted me in here. I just want to say, ancient FBA proverb, "I am not FBA," and then proceeds to say a bunch of FBA shit. So I don't know. That's weird. Get that out of the way. Additionally, I just listen. I told him this before, y'all. Fix your fucking algorithm. You see what you want to see at this point. Like, I tried to break it down so calmly to this man the other day, and it's like he listened to absolutely nothing I said. If I were to use his logic, I could go into a room full of, like, you know, Aboriginal, copper-colored, original 93rd being pretendians calling me Siberian, a Mongoloid, and a hybrid, and an incubator baby. And if I were to sit there and be like, go into another panel, "Oh, well, a bunch of Black people just called me Siberian, so you guys all must be like this." That's stupid. That's ignorant as fuck. You are seeing the drama on your page because you want to see the drama on your page. I told you before, if you want to see unity, whether it's Black and brown unity, whether it's people from other parts of the Black diaspora, you can see that. You are choosing not to see that. I don't know which immigrant like rejected you or broke your heart or what's happening, bro. But like, I don't know how many times people have to tell you the same thing and you just continue to waffle and, you know, I think I'm FBA, but maybe I'm not FBA, but I'm just going to say every fucking thing the FBA say. And then you be like, people dragging Candace Owens. Sir, you are a Candace Owens. You are absolutely a Candace Owens. Like, I'm so confused on to where we're making this delineation of identity at this point. But anyway, to the topic, ICE is full of a bunch of cowards, microphallic cowards at that, and people who support them are equals. I don't care who you voted for. If you're in any way trying to justify the T-ism that is going on against not only immigrants, but now American citizens, you need to go see a doctor about your dysfunction. Anyway, I'll land there for just a minute. I'm
All
just
right.
looking up, y'all. I apologize.
Yeah, fam. Thank you, Catalina. All right, Tony, you got 2 minutes. What do you think about do you support ICE?
Yeah, I do support ICE.
Okay.
And thank you for the dialogue too. I also supported Trump,
Okay.
which I have some regrets now, but I did support him. And
Okay.
I'll tell you why. You know, initially, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of people forget the time when we were seeing gangs take over apartment complexes from other countries, from Latin countries, and nothing was being done about it. A lot of us have had personal experiences with immigrants that are very negative. I recall I was working for a temporary employment agency, and one of the things was they would get you into a job. They got me into Neutrogena, and the pay was very good, and it was all, and I would say it was all, I don't know if I can say the name of the group, but all M's in there. And they kept playing the games where African Americans, when it came time for them to get hired, they would just rotate them out and then rotate them back in through the employment agency so that they would never get a permanent position. And there's experiences like this in warehouses. There's experiences like this all over California. Even with an apartment complex, you come in, you put an application in, and they'll find a way to not even get to make sure you don't get in. These types of ACEs games, they have consequences. I support ICE. I don't support the illegal actions of any organization, but I do support their lawful aims. LAPD picking up murderers, rapists, and molesters, I support that. ICE picking up people who enter this nation illegally, unlawfully, I support that. I don't support unlawful tactics, but I support ICE. What I also don't like is African Americans who don't really agree with freedom of speech. They think that because they speak and you hear that what they have to say, that somehow you're supposed to be converted. That your whole value system, your belief system, your experiences are supposed to be dropped, and theirs are supposed to be accepted, and that's the whole purpose of a conversation. Purpose of freedom of speech is an exchange of ideas. You hear mine, I hear yours. And if I hear something in the dialogue that I feel should convert me, I'll make that choice. You won't make it for me. So that's the issue that I have.
No, real quick, Tony, let me just ask you a follow-up question, and then I think it's Juan's turn. And thank y'all for tapping the screen. I appreciate it. We're already at 142,000 likes. I really appreciate everybody. So my question is, did you hear about this case? Did you hear about my recap about this case?
Yeah, I did hear about the case.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
I did hear. I don't support what ICE did in this case, in that case, and some other cases. Those are criminals. They should be held accountable. I'm not going to support anyone's unlawful actions, whether it's us, whether it's LAPD, whether it's the sheriff's department, whether it's ICE.
Okay. Let me ask you a question then, right? Does this situation though, right, when you have federal agents lying under oath, you have the Department of Homeland Security coming out. I mean, it was like an hour, maybe, I don't even know if it was an hour, maybe 30 minutes after this happened that night, coming out and saying, hey, that these guys were a tease, that they were trying to destabilize the country, that they were going after these agents. And then obviously that's all been proven false. Does that not give you some level of pause as to supporting ICE or not?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Let me go to Swan. Go ahead, Swan. I know you want to come in 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think this conversation has gone from us calling out the harm that ICE agents have caused, the lack of accountability, the fact that they've been granted the ability to make certain decisions, or whether that's picking up someone based on the way that they look, an accent they may have, or if they are in an area where there's a large population of immigrants, right? Like the issue is that these people are not doing their jobs correctly. That's the problem. I also think that it doesn't make any sense to me, because you're talking about like someone else coming in and trying to get you or force you to think in a particular way. I don't think that's not a, you don't have to take that. Nobody's telling you that you guys have to take that. I think the problem here is the ways in which ICE is going about these things. You can have the negative feelings that you have towards people that are immigrants, right? It is what it is. But y'all are focused and fixated on the wrong thing. And I'm going to tell you why. This is fascism and white supremacy at work. What they've been able to do, this government has been able to successfully brainwash people into thinking, right, that their neighbors are their enemy, right? This is a tactic called scapegoating. So they've convinced you that immigrants are the issue. Tony, you said that most of them are harmful or problematic, or you've had a lot of bad experiences with them. That's just not true. I'll tell you right now, white men right? And you want to know what sealed the deal for me? These e-files. White men are the most dangerous demographic here in the United States. They commit the most crimes in all criminal areas of activity, right? But you're sitting here blaming the very group that they want you to blame and to fixate on and to look negatively on, right? And to scapegoat instead of paying attention to the fact that everybody's rights are currently being stripped away. And that's the problem. No one is telling you that you have to like these people. No one is saying that. No one's telling you that you got to fight. Right? But if you're going to sit here and fixate on immigrants and not pay attention to the fact that President Trump and this administration made a decision, right, that cost the black community a lot of money, over 400,000 black women losing their jobs, then you guys are going to stay lost. Sorry, I'll end there.
No, you're good. So Tony, I'll give you a minute to respond, and then we're gonna go to Daniel. Actually, hold on. Let me change it up. Tony, 1 minute, and then Kim, and then Daniel, because Kim wants to address something. Go ahead, Tony. You got a minute to respond.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
DEI, let me just say this. DEI never helped black men. White women hijack DEI and black women benefit from it as a double minority. So it's something that even though the initial civil rights legislation was created for black men, it's been hijacked by other groups, primarily white women and more recently BOK women. So black men have already
Hold on, real quick. Why do you think black women have hijacked DEI? I've never heard that before. Why?
because
Specifically that point.
okay, specifically because if you work in any corporate environment, you're going to find out that the federal government actually pays corporations more money if they hire black women instead of black men. In other words, black women are double minorities. They are women and they are black. So instead of hiring a black and a woman, they just hire instead of hiring a woman and a black, they just hire a black woman. Okay, she replaces you. And if you're in that environment, you can find out real fast that if you have a conflict with her, it's you who's going out the door because of that DEI status, because of the money that they get for having her there, among other things.
So real quick, I want to let Kim address that. But why can't, I would have imagined, right, that black women are being, first, if we look at what's going on now, black women are getting terminated and laid off at historically high rates.
They are.
And then second, I would imagine just overall, right, if we look at the last 10 years, black women are being hired at much higher rates because black women are highly educated. That's just when you look at the disparity in education between black women and black men.
Let me respond to that.
Okay, let me just land this real quick. It's the highest disparity between any two groups, right, within the same race.
Okay.
And so maybe it's just black women having more educational, bandwidth.
Okay.
What do you think about that? And then go ahead. I'll go to Kim. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll just say this about that. The two biggest employers of black women, as we well know, is the federal government and retail. During COVID, they took a hit with retail when all the stores, restaurants, everything closed down. When DEI left, it took a hit with a lot of corporations and no longer wanted to keep them because they were not. When Donald Trump eliminated that, they kind of saw their real value. They were not wanted. Okay, so when the federal government laid them off, you had the two biggest employers of black women being laid off, and just to add to that, even though black women are the most, I would say, enrolled. I don't know and completion is a whole different thing, but they're the most enrolled academically. The stuff that they get degrees in. It's not. It doesn't make them the most educated or the most valuable. Okay, they tend to get degrees in sociology. Something lands them in social services and stuff like that. They don't get degrees in.
Yeah, you're on time. And
As a black woman,
Oh my
as a
God.
black educated woman, excuse me?
So Tony, if you could mute up.
Excuse me?
Yeah, real quick. That was a lot, brother. I'm not gonna lie. That was a whole lot.
Hold on.
Nichelle, let me just land like 10 seconds. I promise I will be quiet and I'm gonna let you continue. But again, right, when we look at empirical data, okay, black women actually lead all folks, right, from the perspective of the number of people that enroll at a university to getting their degree. That has been, I'll get the study here in a second. So when we look at all demographics, from if you had 100 black women, 100 black men, 100 white women, 100 Asian women, whatever it may be, the percentage of that 100 people that end up finishing and getting their degree is the highest amongst black women. I think we should be celebrating that. We should be enjoying it. I don't give a damn what the damn degree is in. I don't care, right? As a person who hires people, I really don't look at what you got the degree in. I look at your talent, your emotional fortitude, and your ability to do the job. I really don't care. I don't care. It just shows me that you can start a task and finish it. Period. Right? I don't care what the degree is in. So, but let me go to Nichelle. I said I would be quiet. Go ahead, Nichelle, and then I want to go to Kim and
No.
listen.
Kim was first. I will save my read. Go ahead and give Kim her minute response. No, that's
Go
fine.
ahead. Go ahead, Kim.
Yeah, there was so much misinformation in that. First off, I just wanted to correct from what he said before about certain people from certain countries taking over apartment buildings. That was debunked multiple times by the mayor and governor of that state. So please stop saying that bullcrap. Two, also the second highest thing that Black women are in is healthcare, not retail. It's healthcare. Please get that right too. I don't know what it is that you have. Like, are you Black? Because the amount of like anti-Blackness and misogyny that you have towards Black women is crazy. You also state that Black women are benefit from DEIA more than Black men. That's factually incorrect. Of anybody who does not get the most benefit from DEIA is Black women. Black men get more benefit through DEIA than Black women. You might want to actually look into that. That's factually incorrect. As somebody who is the person in charge of hiring, Black women are the ones who get less when it comes to DEIA.
Let me go to. Oh, thank you, Kim. Nichelle, do you want to come in? I just want to give you space if you want to come in.
And I want to be next too.
Yeah, I got you. Then I do feel like I want to let the Black women on the panel address what was said, though. So I'm gonna skip the order a little bit. Go ahead, Nichelle, if you want a minute, and then I'm gonna let Swan get a minute. Then I will go to you, Daniel.
Yeah. During Black, okay, so what we're not going to do is degrade the degree choice of Black women during Black History Month. Okay. My first degree was in vocal performance. I sang Italian and German opera. Maybe that doesn't contribute to the economy, but the autonomy of my choice was a wonderful thing. My second degree was in paralegal studies because I was going to go to law school, but my daughter got sick. Again, the agency of my choice is a beautiful thing. To degrade Black women down to something like retail or whatever industry you want to, clearly you don't know Black women in STEM, Black women in the sciences, in the research fields, in healthcare. And no, I'm not talking about CNAs. I'm talking about surgeons. I'm talking about doctors. I'm talking about NPs. That is a wild thing to say about Black women. Don't do it again.
Let me go to Swan. Go ahead, Swan, and then we'll go to Daniel.
Yeah, I think it's just really unfortunate that the way that Daniel and Tony have approached this conversation, and it speaks exactly to what I had said before when we talk about fascism and white supremacy and the ways in which they use scapegoating as a tactic, right? He's now scapegoating directly towards, I don't know if he's Black, but like scapegoating the very people that look like you. There was not 1 ounce of empathy for the fact that, there were so many Black women that were affected by this. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that I'm saying that Black men are not dealing with anything either. What I'm talking about is the focus, right, on things that are not true, information that you've been given via propaganda, and not paying attention to where the actual harm is coming from, which is the government. I would argue that, yes, when it comes to job opportunities, yes, Black men are negatively impacted. White men have more of a chance of getting a job with a felony than a Black man does with a criminal record. And all of those things are problematic. All of those things are an issue. I could give you stats on every single intersection of Black people here in the United States and probably globally as well. That's it. I just think that, if y'all could take a step back and just look and see the actual harm that is happening, we'd be having a much different conversation right now. And I think that things overall for us would be different as well. It just really comes down to knowledge and understanding what is happening realistically, and not just your experience, but the experiences of others around you that you are in community with as well.
Thank you, Swan. All right, let me go to Daniel. Go ahead, 2 minutes. Yeah, go ahead, Daniel. 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. And then even to what was even said earlier, though, that I'm nothing more than a Candace Owens. You can go to my page. I drag white tea supremacy all day, every day. So you can't use that one on me. I'm just throwing that out there, and things like that. But just to get the point across and things like that. I know you're saying even if you dislike the people, still stand up for them and still say what ISIS is doing is wrong. Well, at the end of the day, if you're illegal, then you just need to go back to where you came from. You're proud of your Nigerian flags and your Somalian flags. And hold on, I didn't interrupt anybody else. You're part of.
It's undocumented, not illegal. Shut up.
If you're proud of your Nigerian flags or your Mexican flag, then why don't you fix your own country and trying to come over here and things like that, though? So it's all like get it from the mud, like how Black Americans got it out of the mud and things like that. We had to fight for everything we got over here.
Win, Andy, baby. Thank you, Andy. Go ahead.
And we are giving breadcrumbs, though. So it's my sympathy level is decreasing as the years go by, though. I've been trying to figure out for many years why immigrants hate us so much. I still haven't got my answer yet why y'all hate us so much. And so until I get the answer on why Black immigrants and Africans hate Black Americans so much, my sympathy levels are going to decrease year by year. And that's just how it really is, though, and things like that. If you break the law, then you have to go back to where you came from. As simple as that, though. And I don't claim no African ancestry or whatever and things like that. Many Black Americans don't even look like Africans. I look nothing like no African or Nigerian, though. My people, my family look nothing like no African Nigerian.
Hold on, y'all. Let's let them finish.
So let's just like in 2026, I'm calling spades and witches.
Sorry, Smitty, but I think like him coming from a.
Hold on, y'all. Real quick. Let me just figure out the order. And I think Daniel, you were addressing Catalina, so let me let Catalina come in. Okay, let's go ahead, Catalina. I got some questions, but I'm just gonna let you go in. Go ahead. You got 2 minutes, and then
it's a 1 minute response. Or okay.
Well, but
it was her turn.
Got it. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to address something that he said, but then I want to talk about like the DEI aspect to both of them, and I'm going to do a quick exercise. So first of all, bro, please stop coming up here and saying you're not FBA. You just spewed the most FBA nonsense I've ever heard in my life, and I don't know what you mean you don't have African ancestry, because if you start in on the pretendian bullshit, I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. But I digress. So like, I don't even know if there's any value in talking to someone like Daniel because of how disgusting his rhetoric is. So this is what I want to do. I'm going to ask everybody on the panel a question. It's 2 questions, and all it is a yes or no. I know the people who are going to follow the directions, and I know the people who aren't. So the first question is, do you support overturning DEI initiatives? Swan.
I do not.
Daniel.
Do I support overturning DEI initiatives?
It's a yes or a no.
No, I do not.
Okay, Kim.
Oh no.
Okay, Nichelle.
Nope.
Tony. I don't even need him to come off of mute. Okay, go ahead, Tony. Do you support the overturning of
I'm sorry. Do I support the overturning of DEI initiatives?
You get reported? Where'd she go?
Okay.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
a couple quick things, real quick, because I failed to mention this before, and then I want to get into the reporting thing. One. Please refer to Somalis as Somalis or a Somali person. Okay, that's number 1. And 2, this reporting thing, y'all, it impacts the people that you like on the panel. Okay, when you report somebody you don't like, you impact the people that you like. And we got a diverse array of opinions, so you got to like somebody on the panel. So I don't understand it. And if you like somebody on the panel and it's over 700 people listening, guess what? That person has a pretty broad audience to say what you like. So I don't understand why you, even if you don't like somebody, why you would report them when both sides are allowed to be able to speak around misinformation. Please don't do that. Please.
Can I add to that?
Give me a second, fam. Give me a second. Okay. It impacts everybody. It impacts the people you like. So please, let's not do that. Okay. Go ahead. Hold on, y'all. Be quiet. Hold on. Go ahead, Nichelle.
I just want to add to that real quick, because I apologize, because I'm super frustrated this morning with this whole thing. We cannot overtalk. We cannot. Please try to pay attention to the timers, because when we're having passionate conversations like this, and then y'all in the chat with the comments, I want to address something really quick. Y'all are in Smitty's live. Newsflash, you're in Smitty's house, okay? So when you're commenting negatively, okay, or when you are reporting a panelist that Smitty has up, you think you're eating with that, right? But what it shows the algorithm, what it shows the app, is that Smitty doesn't have good judgment on who he brings up. Smitty and his mods can't control the chat. So here's the thing. Here's the beautiful thing about this app. If you don't like it, scroll. There's this beautiful thing, like if you take your finger and swipe up, you can scroll. There's also this amazing feature called the back button. And you don't have to scroll into another live. You can just go on about your merry day. But when you're doing that, you're actually harming Smitty, because it's not just Carolina. You're literally telling the app, hey, hold on a second. This host has a problematic chat that he can't manage, because we get pop-ups all the time on our side saying, hey, do you want to limit these words? Hey, do you want to put these restrictions on? Hey, we get those messages as live hosts. So stop with all the stupidity, please. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even appeal to that in the show. I'm just assuming that they like some of the other folks on the panel. I don't even care if they like me. Just, you might like some of the other folks on the panel that you agree with, and it impacts them, right? And so I hear you. Let me go to Tony. It's actually Tony's turn. Tony,
Wait,
you
can
get
I
2
get my
minutes. I
time
think.
back?
Oh, I think you had like 10 seconds if you want it.
Well, I know I had to have. Well, this is what I wanted to say something about the DEI thing that was really important, and then because I think Tony's response will be important. Maybe.
Go ahead. I'll give you another
Okay.
minute. Go ahead.
So the reason why I'm asking is because I think a lot of people don't even know what DEI is, and they think that it's just about hiring practices, and that is where I have a huge issue. DEI initiatives are about allowing us to learn about each other and about being able to make accommodations. DEIA, thank you, Kim. So and I want to say this, it is very personal to me because my job was impacted by anti-DEI initiatives. And what happened wasn't about my personal position within the organization. It's about the fact that when these initiatives came down from the top, from the Trump administration, and then also our Republican governor, they started limiting anybody who receives state or federal funds from being able to do sponsorships, grants, or collaborations or work with population-specific organizations. So anything with Latino in the name, anything with Black in the name, anything with Native American, woman, Asia, etc., they started being affected. And so that affects what we're able to do resource-wise in our community. So when you say stuff like you do about DEIA and how, it didn't benefit you, it's not just about hiring practices. You are actually negatively impacting your entire community and what resources go out to those communities with your ignorance. And also whoever reported me, your mother. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Catalina. Let me go to Tony. Tony, you got 2 minutes. Go ahead. You can address whatever you want.
Trying to come off mute there. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the response is exactly as I had said it would be. It was an attack. It was negativity. It was not really a respect for another person's right to freedom of speech, and trying to just being respectfully explanatory and allowing that person to hear what you have to say and make a decision from that. It was just attack. Okay, if DEI had really negatively impacted African American men, they would be complaining about it. Most Black men have nothing to say about it because they were not the recipients of it. The people who are complaining the most about DEI are primarily Black women and Hispanic women and white women. These are the biggest complainers of DEI. Black men are complaining no more than white men are complaining, and white men didn't benefit from DEI, neither did Black men. Okay, now DEI was supposed to be aimed at Black men, but Black men got no benefit from it. So Black men, there's nothing to complain about when you didn't suffer anything. And that for some reason, that's a hard concept for a lot of Black women to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
Black men didn't benefit. Black men didn't suffer from it. The people who are suffering are the ones who are crying. And that's a very simple thing to understand. And everything that these women have said, I stand by what I said. I didn't say that women were not in stem cell. I didn't say that black women were not in healthcare. What I said was the biggest employers of black women is retail and the federal government. That is why when Donald Trump laid off all these black women from the federal jobs, you hear all these complaints. You hear all these stories of suffering. Okay,
So,
I stand by what I said.
but Tony, let me ask you a question. You're saying, hey, when Donald Trump laid these folks off, there were these stories of suffering. But why wouldn't there be stories of suffering if they were laid off unjustifiably? If they were laid off, under false pretense? Why? I don't understand. I mean, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Why wouldn't people come out and be upset about that?
I'm not condemning their complaints of what they're going through.
Okay.
I believe that they have a right to speak about their experiences as anybody does.
Okay.
But nobody's blocking black women from speaking about their experiences. What I'm showing is that with all these degrees didn't put them into the categories in which they got their degrees in. These degrees landed them jobs for which you really don't need a degree. These federal jobs don't require degrees. Okay, they don't require any specialization. A lot of these federal jobs, they can take you in there and train you. They could take you in there with no degree. I'm not saying you don't have a degree. They could take any person in there with no degree and give them the same job. There's non-degreed and degree people working side by side in these jobs. So, being employed by the federal government, most federal jobs, they don't require a college degree.
Well, but as you know, I'm sure, right? You have pay grades with a lot of these federal jobs, and a lot of times people may go into a job without a degree, but they're incentivized to get a degree because when they do get that degree, they get paid more, they get more benefits, and quite honestly, they become more valuable. And that's why the government oftentimes pays for them to get the degree. And so, I guess what I'm trying to connect, right? I'm trying to understand that this idea that you feel that DEI benefited black women more than other demographics. When do you have like some data or a study or is this more anecdotal from what you've seen?
No, I've read. I don't have a particular I've read a whole bunch of different literature, a whole bunch of different studies. I can't point to anyone, but anybody is welcome to go out there and actually pull up the data. DEI is not something that benefited black men or black male teens or black boys. It benefited black women. Most federal programs, I don't know if you know it or not, but most federal programs, most federal legislation aimed at the black community, it benefits black women and black girls. It doesn't benefit black men. It doesn't benefit black male teens and black boys. Just do your research on it. Even when Obama came out with My Brother's
Keeper. Go ahead, Tony. And then
I'm gonna land right here. Even when Obama came out with My Brother's Keeper, and a lot of black people don't know this, it was black women who went after it the most aggressively. Like, where's our sister's keeper?
So
even
real,
though there
quick,
were a lot
I'm
of
gonna let I think Swan, I saw the hand up. But if something helps black women, how does it not also help black men? When black women historically, if we want to talk about marriage rates or family rates, historically by far marry black men. I guess this is where I'm trying to. Let me do this. Let me go to. Let me just let. I think I saw Swan's hand up.
Can I leave you with a question before you go?
Go ahead.
Ice Cube had a conversation, and in that conversation, you can go back and read. You can go back and find the video. He's talking to Queens of Cocktails, and when he talked to them about the things that he had set down at the table and legislation he was trying to get passed for the black community, these black women turned around and asked him, "What about black women?" They declared themselves separate from the black community. They needed something specifically for them. So they're the ones who pushed the idea that.
Hey guys, be quiet.
They're the ones who pushed the idea that they are entitled. That they need more than what the black community. They should get what the regular black community get. They should also get more because they are basically more than the black community. I'm gonna land there.
And I would like to say something soon because I have to leave soon.
Real quick. Go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
I have to leave soon too, so I just want to just keep my plane landed though. Even to what I had said earlier though, because I'm not going to make it too much about me and the topic though. But even what I had said earlier though, that I don't claim African ancestry. I'm not one of those FBA people who believe that black people were already here. I just believe after a certain timeline, the ancestry of your forefathers means null and void, because about 5 generations of my family were born in America and things like that, and many black Americans Americans do not look like people from Africa. Let's also keep that in mind. Though. My mom does not look like no Nigerian, no South African. So let's just throw that out there right now, though. Many black people do not even look like our brothers and sisters in the motherland, though. But if you want to change my perspective, change my mindset, and we could work together in the diaspora war to my African brothers, my Caribbean brothers and sisters, and my Afro-Latinos or whatever, though, black passing, though, you answer my question, why do y'all hate us so much? I've been trying to figure out in my 20-something years of living in this world, why do black immigrants, Nigerians, why y'all hate us so much? That's what I'm just trying to figure out.
But let me ask you a question, Daniel. And Tony, you don't have to go into depth. Tony, are you Black American? Tony, are you Black American?
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I had to come off mute.
No,
Yes,
that's all I want to know.
I am Black American, and
Yeah,
let me just add a bit to that.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I have experienced, and it's very insulting, and not to you, host. I'm not condemning you.
Mm-hmm.
Great question, but I've noticed that for some reason that Black men, one of the first things that the civil rights soldiers after the Civil War asked for, they wanted to be literate. Black men literally died in the Civil War for the right to read. I mean, during the Civil War in slavery, they actually died trying to read and write.
Mm-hmm.
And now when we find Black men who are literate, who know how to read and write and speak well, our question is, hey, are you Black? Which for me is, I grew up where I would hear Black people say to well-spoken, Black men who could read and write, who speak very well, are you Black? And because they associate literacy with whiteness. That's why they came up with the term, stop trying to be white.
That's not why Smitty asked you.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish. Okay, that's how that term came about. Most of them don't understand that both the Black baby and the white baby are born with no language skills. Both of them have to learn how to be literate.
So
literacy should not be connected to
Kim
whiteness.
go?
Literacy.
Yeah,
real quick, Tony, I got you.
To whiteness. Okay.
So Tony, so
thank you.
So so the reason I was asking that question, because I was actually directed to Daniel. And listen, I vigorously disagree with Tony's characterization in regards to DEIA and Black women and just kind of his rhetoric around Black women in general. And as you can see, I'm kind of breaking away from my moderator status and kind of dialoguing with Tony to express to him and everybody here that I disagree. And the reason I'm saying that to you, Daniel, is you said you had an issue with this panel that you were on with, folks that were denigrating Black Americans. But here you are on a panel with a person that's, to me, denigrating Black women, and I don't really see you stepping up, brother. I don't see you saying anything about that. And so, how do you expect anybody else to stand up for our Black women if you're not willing to do it right now? And so, again, I'm being respectful to Tony. I'm not calling him out of his name or anything like that, but I have a vigorous problem with what he's saying. And so, I'd like to see you say more, brother. I'm telling you. And so I'm just saying, you had a problem on a panel that you were on before. Why are you not expressing what you want folks to do to these other folks that you have problems with? Go ahead, Daniel, if you want to answer that 1 minute, and then I want to go to Swan.
I mean, because it was just a conversation between Smitty and these ladies on the panel, though. But I will say, though, because I'm quick to defend Black women on the American side and know who they who they stand with, though. Like, I don't wish no ill will towards these ladies on these panels, though. But obviously, I feel like they're on the wrong side of history, and I don't really defend my people who are on the wrong side of history. So that's why I kept my quiet.
But don't you feel, Daniel, that was a general statement that Tony was? I don't think Tony was addressing that to the women on the panel that you may have a disagreement with, which I disagree with that characterization too. But I feel like that was a general comment. I don't think Tony was expressing that to just the women on the panel. You know what I mean? Like, that was just Black women. That wasn't just the Black women on the panel.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I probably should have said something, though, but I was just trying to keep my mind and my thoughts to myself, though. Okay, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay, all right. Swan, I think you want to come in. Go ahead, 2 minutes, fam. Go ahead.
just want to say Trump and this administration were successful with Tony. They convinced him. The scapegoating worked. The propaganda worked. That's all I'm going to say about that. Even with the things that Tony said, I still would not sit here and say that ICE should be able to get away with the things that they're doing to people because it's harmful, right? Regardless if I vehemently disagree with his views or not, I think the conversation has now shifted to things that Tony should be laying on someone's couch, someone that has an office and a clipboard, telling them about those things, as opposed to us like talking about the background, because we have sat here and fixated on his misogynoir this entire time that he's been up here. But I think regardless, like aside from all of that, I do think that what's happening with these ICE agents and this specific situation where they lied, I'm not sure if this is tied directly to this, but there was a situation to where there was a man who was supposed to be doing background checks. This individual that was supposed to be doing background checks apparently got caught because of his mingling, or I don't know what you want to call it, his P or SW, I guess is what I would call it, like schmeck's work.
Okay.
Yeah, he got caught doing that, and they ended up putting him behind bars. Same thing, like I said before, with the person who was harmful towards, or the person that unalived Keith Porter and the allegations against him and the ways in which he was disciplining his children using racial and homophobic slurs. And then even with the person that unalived Renee Good, I don't know much about the ones that did this to Alex Preddy, but it's not even just these situations. Again, I think the last live, or maybe the one before that, I had read a list of the things that were happening to people that are in these detainment centers that have been getting detained. We all talked about the video with the woman that had the TBI, who was she was ripped from her car, and she was she was detained, and then she was let out, and she spoke her experiences, and she has physical damage that she's going to be dealing with for a while after her interactions, right? So I think the whole point of this conversation is addressing the fact that the ways in which ICE has been functioning is harmful, and I don't think that anybody should be subjected to that. And I'll end there.
Yeah, thank you.
We mad over what ICE is doing to the immigrants right now, though, and I'm really just gonna be dipped though, because I don't think we're gonna make any leeway with this conversation. It's gonna be my last time on this panel though, but I gotta give y'all some food for thought real quick though. What like when they say defend. Stop ICE because black people are next. Motherfucker, I'm sorry, excuse my French, we've been already on the chopping block. Day one, though. Black people are at the high of the food chain when it comes to hate in this country. It is socially accepted to disrespect and abuse black people in this country, black Americans particularly, and all this shit and things like that. And then once again, too, though, that's why the Nigerians and South Africans put on their resume that they're African before they're black, so they won't get fucked over like a black American. So at the end,
cut it out, bro.
Yeah. Please with the cursing.
Okay, my bad though. So at the end of the day, screw all this nonsense like stop ICE because black and if we don't do anything, we are next. We've always been on the chopping block. So what have they done to black Americans that they haven't done yet though? So like, what can they do to us that they haven't done yet? So that's all I gotta say.
So real quick, Daniel, before you go, so the idea that hey, black folks are next, I would agree with you 1,000%. I just where I think we disagree is where we focus our energy, right, in terms of the liberation of our people. I completely agree with you. I can't stand when folks say, "Oh, black people are next," because you are absolutely right about that. But again, where I feel like you're going wrong is you're punching down on another marginalized group instead of looking at the folks that benefit from such marginalization. That's where we disagree. Where the folks that benefit from this are not on this panel. They're probably not in the chat, maybe a few in the chat, right? Those are the folks I feel like you should have the frustration and the anger with. Those are the folks that have propagandized immigrant communities. Those are the folks that support the destabilization of their countries. Newsflash, 99% of people, right, if they are leaving their countries because of force, don't want to go. They don't want to go. They'd rather stay in those countries, right? Venezuelans would rather stay in Venezuela as opposed to literally walking through the Darien Gap and 1,000 miles to get to the southern border. They don't want to come here. Right?
Well,
We
then my
ain't all
next.
that. I promise you, brother. We ain't all that. And so the reality is, I would say, just think about this, young brother. Think about this, right? Have some of that. And you mentioned, you check white supremacists, which I respect. But have a little bit more anger for the folks that are benefiting from all of this destabilization. That's all I would tell you, man.
When you go on my page, majority of my content is directed towards white people and white
I remember you
supremacy
said that.
anyway.
I
Okay,
remember you
so
said
but okay, I'm really about to dip. I'm just going to just say this one last thing too, though, that I actually want to answer. I actually do want to answer for any African person on the panel before I go, though. Would you rather be seen as a Black American, or would you rather want to keep identifying as an African person? Because we do have two different walks of life. So, like, I'm very curious.
When you say two different, just real quick, and then I'll let Swan come in. When you say two different walks of life, what do you mean by that? Because that can be construed in a different.
The Black American experience is always going to be different than an African or an Afro-Latino experience. So that is just a definite fact that we don't really experience the same marginalization. And I really do believe that, though, but it could lead into a different discussion. But what I really mainly want an African person on this panel to just admit, though, would you rather be seen as a Black American or identify as an African in this country? So, like, that's what I'm curious about.
But isn't that a little bit of oppression Olympics, Daniel? If we look at, so let me be quiet. It's
I want
folks
to
way more
respond to that.
qualified than me to answer that question. Go ahead.
You were
Go
right in
ahead.
that,
Go
Smitty.
ahead.
You're right.
Yeah, I think the problem here is like, so I get this all the time from FBAs. In my bio, I have two flags. Okay. I have the Puerto Rican flag. My mom is Puerto Rican. She was born there. Okay. The Nigerian flag is there because of the ancestry. So once again, Daniel, I was born in the United States. I have a lineage that goes back to chattel slavery, right? 1732. The plantation that my ancestors worked on still stands down south, okay? My peoples came from there. What I understood through my journey of deconstructing and decolonizing was that here in the United States, our education system starts at chattel slavery. But I know that that's not all we are, right? I know that they don't teach us about pre-colonial Africa for a specific reason. And in my efforts to reject white supremacy, I decided to look back and go beyond that, right? So yes, you see the flag in my bio because of the ancestry, but I was born here. I have a lineage to chattel slavery just like you. And you are so far down this FBA rabbit hole, whether you want to call yourself FBA or not, that you have overlooked me saying this to you. This is now the third time I have told you that that is my lineage. But you're so fixated on wanting to ostracize people who are African that you did not hear me say that. So I'm answering your question again, and I'm telling you that I am a Black American. But even if I was not, that shouldn't matter, right? People like you who are performative are so problematic. You've been fixated on what you dealt with on another panel. Well, why don't you be a grown man next time and take a break from panels before you join a conversation? Because we have yet to hear you say anything about ICE, right? But in addition to that, you've got Free Congo in your bio. There are 10 million people that are displaced right now in the Congo. There are children that are being forced to work in mines with no protective gear. Okay, 10 million people, right? Myself and my mutuals, we've done a lot for people in the Congo, and it doesn't even feel like a drop in the ocean. And we do a lot for people here as well. If you were in need of something, I would still do something for you, because that's who I am, and I understand the importance, right, of solidarity amongst Black people globally, right? Whether you agree with it or not. But you have got to wake up. All of your frustration that you are allowing to take over your mind and cloud your judgment in this conversation has really robbed the ability for us to have a discussion where we could come to a conclusion. You just said that that's something that you wanted, but the entire time you have been fighting us on this panel, the same way that Tony has. The same way that Tony has. Like, I don't know I don't even know what else to say anymore at this point. I think the two of you are clueless. I think the two of you are harmful. You're misogynistic. I think the two of you are very uneducated. But I would still write out for y'all, regardless.
I want to
Because
speak
you
when
are
you're
Black
done.
men. I'm not done. Because you are Black men, I would still write out for y'all. But all this other stuff that y'all been up here doing when nobody was addressing you, we were trying to have a conversation about the topic, is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Thank you, Swan. Thanks, Swan.
And
I know you're leaving, Daniel, but real quick, there are very rare times that I don't start a timer. That was one of the rare times I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let one say
Just
what
like,
she needs
just
to say.
like once,
Yeah, go ahead. 1 minute.
just
Go
one
ahead.
Start at the
second though.
timer.
Go ahead.
Just 1 second
That
though.
was at the
'Cause
timer
yes,
now.
I do have free Congo on my profile though too though. I disagree with Africans though, but I can still disagree with y'all though and still realize that children working for 10 cents an hour to pick coltan is still fucking wrong though. But it's so funny though. Y'all don't even advocate for your own country half the time though. But then you come here and then you bash Black Americans. But I'm just leave it at that.
You see how he didn't even
Okay.
hear how I said I help people here as well? That's wild, isn't it? He just wants a fight. He just wants a fight. He doesn't care.
All right. So Daniel, we're gonna let you go. I know you got to go. All right, we'll let Daniel go. Who was next? Was it Kim? Yeah. Let's bring Kim in, and then we'll go to Tony. So Kim, Tony, Nichelle, Catalina. Go ahead, Tim. You got Kim, you got 2 minutes. Sorry about that, fam. Go ahead.
No problem. Well, he left, so he could stay out. But I just wanted to address something that was misinformation from before with Tony, because he was saying that Black men don't benefit from DEIA. And I just wanted to know, so are Black men not veterans? Are Black men not disabled? Do Black men not have the need to go on paternity leave? Do Black men not use wheelchairs and stuff like that? Do Black men not use Braille? Those are all part of DEIA. So I'm a little confused how you're saying that Black men were left out, Black men or Black boys were left out of stuff like that, when that's not even true. You even heard from Carolina, who told you about organizations that were losing their money, nonprofits. Those affect many people, especially when you talk about Black boys or whatever like that. When you talk about people that may get government funding, like AAUs and stuff like that, people that do, basketball camps, stuff like that, who get federal funding, that affects Black boys too. So I'm a little confused as to how you're saying Black men and Black boys were not affected by DEIA going away, sir.
Let's let Tony come in. Go ahead, Tony. You got 2 minutes if you want it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I didn't say that there was zero benefit for Black men and Black boys, but there's token benefits for Black men. Now, Black boys is also token benefit. Let me finish. There's also
I just want to say, Smitty, was that not what he actually said? Did he not say Black men? He said Black men don't benefit from DEIA. Isn't that what he said?
I thought we were going to have no interruptions.
No, I'm asking the host. I asked the host. I said, excuse me, host. Just so make sure. Was that not what was said?
Done, let my 2 minutes start then.
Yeah, I got you, Tony. I reset it. That's what I heard, Kim.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I didn't answer something that wasn't said.
That's what I heard. Go ahead, Tony. I'll reset your timer. Go ahead.
Okay, one of the things that just burns me up is the completely ignoring of the Black male plight. First of all, most of the people that perish in the civil rights struggle are Black men. Most of the people who fall for this stuff are Black men. Most of the victims of ism during Avery and after are Black men. You look up any segregation statistics. Even when they found Emmett Till in that watery grave, there was so many other young boys underneath there with him. They've actually dug up other young Black boys before they even got to him, and those were not even discussed. Okay, but here's the thing that gets me. I mean, there was actually more issue made of the 4 Black girls who were burned up alive than all them Black boys buried underneath Emmett Till. Now, my outrage is just spilling over at this point, because the biggest victims, the biggest fighters for civil rights are Black men and Black boys and Black male teens. And yet the biggest beneficiaries of this crap is white women, Black women as a damn double minority. When those Black families, if you go, the closer you get, if you ever read Black history, the closer you get to the Emmett Till era, you're going to find that those families were missing Black sons, not Black daughters. And I'm actually hearing today people talk about, what about Black girls? Anytime that the victim gap is as huge, you're gonna hear people speak according to a reality, and the reality was their sons were missing and not their damn daughters. My point is this, guys. Okay, I'm not trying to put down Black women or take anything from Black women. But in this, okay, you can. I see you, a host. I see your eyes.
You're killing me, bro.
I see your
eyes. You are killing me.
Okay,
you're not trying to put down Black women.
I don't have the time to explain it all. I don't have the time. I only got 2 minutes. Okay, but the point is this. Okay, why isn't Black male unalignment in the Black community being addressed? We've been addressing this for years with tons of accused. Why haven't we addressed this to its end? Okay, DEI does not benefit black males, whether it's a adult male, a male teen, or a male boy, more than it benefits black women. I'm ending right now. Here, I'm going to end with this. End with this.
Ending right now. So,
You drop.
yeah, I couldn't, especially after I saw Swan. When she hit her limit, I hit my limit. So,
Can I jump in here?
yeah, go ahead, because
So, the way my brain thinks is that when I hear an opposing opinion, when I hear, especially something diabolical like what we were hearing from Daniel and Tony, my brain instantly goes to what could make them think like that. And I feel like there's a trend here that we're sensing that black men feel somehow left behind. I'm not agreeing with that. I'm not saying whether that's statistically true or not, but there's something here, and it's not lost on me that he voted for Trump, right? We saw the uptick of black men voting against their own interests and becoming BLAGA, right? I think this is interesting. It's got me wanting to think a little bit more. Again, I fundamentally disagree with everything. The most disrespected person in America is a black woman. Okay, the most harmed demographic is black women. And so I'm extremely passionate about that. But it does make me question and wonder when we look at things like DEI, when we look at things like where these pain points are coming from. Again, misguided, misinformed, incorrect, don't agree. But I think it's interesting that it's a trend of black men coming up here and acting and just missing the whole point. So that's the point I wanted to make right there, because this is wild. This is wild.
But here's the thing, and then I want to let Black Cabinet come in. But we're not going to act like there wasn't a level of misogyny even within the civil rights movement, right? Yes, absolutely. Dr. King was unalive. Yes, Malcolm X was unalive. But let's not act like there weren't tons of black women that were highly involved in the civil rights movement, that were giving their life as well. If we talk about Emmett Till, did we talk about his mother that dedicated her life to activism after he was unalived? And how she did not get the respect that she deserved. We're not going to talk about Claudette Colvin, who did not get the respect that she deserved. Right? Let's not act like everything was peachy keen and perfect. There was tons of them. That's why you don't hear about the black women that were involved in the civil rights movement. I mean, anyway, I know Black Cabinet's going to say it way better than me. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, come on in.
Well, thank you so much. I really wish he was up here, because I was going to walk them through history and give them a master class of the sacrifice of black women and what black women have been doing and what I've been teaching about black women for the last couple of weeks and a half, because I'm centering black women this Black History Month. And one of the things I'm centering is black women organizations like the National Association of Colored Women or the National Council of Negro Women, like the Washer women who led strikes, like the women who are also hanging from trees. See, a lot of times the reason why they started to say her name was because there is a, for some reason we have a thought that women were not going through slavery, Jim Crow, in which Polly Murray would call Jane Crow. We act like black women also was not suffering of what Polly Murray, not Polly Murray, but what Mary Church Terrell would call a double handicap, race and sex. You see, what happens is if you call a company racist, they will hire a black man. If you call a company sexist, they will hire a white woman. And therefore, the one person that always got left behind was the black woman. And for him to sit there and say that black men have suffered more than black women, understand this, it was black women who were forced to go back out into the fields and work in white people's houses when they came up with laws that would literally say that the vagrancy laws was not just vagrancy men, but it was vagrancy women too. If you're not working in a white person's home, if you're not raising a white person's child, if you're not folding a white person's laundry, you could go to jail too. Let's talk about all the black women in the coal mines that they want to talk about. Now we're talking about the black man who was in the coal mines, the black man who had to go to jail. The black women had to go to Parchment prison too. Worse than slavery. Black women was in that same prison. The prison, in fact, understand this, when they put black women in prison, they did not even segregate them. And so now they had to suffer under grape. At the same damn time, and he's gonna sit up here and say black women didn't go through anything. They were the backbone of the entire civil rights struggle. If you look in the back of Marcus Garvey's struggle, the UNIA, there was the black nurses, the black women nationalists. Those women were carrying Garvey, at Amy Ashwood Garvey, right? Both of Garvey's wives, not just Amy Ashwood, who would start actually black Pan-Africanism with the Pan-Africans. Anna Julia Cooper talked about the same thing. Black women standing strong for black men. If it was, and then when you talk about lynching, the person who talked about lynching more than anything wasn't black man. It was a person named Ida B. Wells who would write down every single day what's going on with black people and how black people are mischaracterized as being hypersexual. It was black women who led that fight. It was black women who stood on the shoulders of other black women and made sure that they drug us through the civil rights movement. And don't get me preaching. It was black women who was literally was ostracized and literally made sure the Montgomery bus boycott happened. It was people like Dorothy Height and Arnold Hedgeman who literally did. We talk about Bear Rustin. Yes, he did well. Thank you, Bear. But it was Dorothy Height and the black women and the Women's Council who made it happen. If you look at the Montgomery bus boycott, it was the Women's Political Council who made it happen. Joanna Gibson Robinson and all the other women who was making meals, making sure they could get people to pick people up. It was the black women who drugged men all the way through. When you watch the life of Medgar Evers could have died, but it was Merle Evers the reason why I remember who Medgar is today.
Exactly.
You said it earlier, Emmett Till. We would have forgot who Emmett Till was, but it was Mammy Till who drugged him to being an honorary ancestor. It was these black women who we've always been on their shoulders. So don't you dare get up here and say and disrespect black women and act like you're gonna ghostline their experiences from what they went through. It was black women is the reason why Martin Luther King Jr.'s name was in lights. Coretta was the one from the South, not Martin. When they went back to Montgomery, it was because that was where Coretta was from. She was the one that faced all the different segregation. She was the one that faced those things. When Malcolm X got up there and when he said the black woman was the most disrespected, he heard the story of a person named Fannie Lou Hamer who preached right before him. And she told her testimony of how she was beat in a male jail, how 2 black prisoners had to beat her at the command of white officers. It's black women who did it. And so when you sit there and say black women didn't go through nothing in the civil rights era, black women didn't go through nothing in lynching, black women didn't go through nothing in politics, man, shut your rabbit ass mouth. And I'm glad y'all dropped him because he needs a class in real history. And if you even go all the way back to the slave revolts, it was black women who they would let open off their handcuffs, and black women would set the doggone boat on fire. It was black women who made sure that they would be free. It was black women who would steer the ships, making sure the black man was able to get free. Go back and read it all. Read the blood, baby. Read the blood. It was black women who carried us where we are. There was no Nelson Mandela without Winnie. You can't do anything without Winnie Mandela. People are scared of Winnie, not Nelson. Nelson was up there trying to find out how the white man could bring him in. It was Winnie who would stand up against him. It was Queen Ashantewa, who, when the black man said, "Oh, who's going to stop them from getting the Benin bronze?" It was Ashantewa who got the other black women together and said, "We will defend this." It was Lala Matrice Solitude, who in Guadalupe, pregnant, had a child in her stomach, who still came up against the British. It was Nanny. It was Queen Nanny of the Maroons in Jamaica, who literally would take the Maroons, the wayward Maroons, on her back and make sure that they would break the hands of the doggone British. That is black women for you. And for him to get up here and say black women didn't do nothing, he shut his rabbit ass mouth. Let me get out of here before I'm getting passionate. I'll see y'all later. I'm out. Bye, y'all.
Wait,
All right,
Cabinet,
man.
don't drop. Cabinet, don't drop. Cabinet, don't drop. Don't drop, my friend. I'm literally getting emotional over here. I'm literally fighting back tears because I'm gonna try to get this together. So many places we are not allowed to speak. So many places we try to sound the alarm and no one listened. And here we are. And for you to so passionately run down the achievements and the backbone of the black community as the black woman, and then add in the quote of what Malcolm X said, how we are the most disrespected, how we have people who come up and still have something to say about our looks, about our features, how we choose to wear our hair, right? What our body shape looks like, what our voice sounds like. To know that we have that type of support in you is so incredibly important. Same thing with Smitty. If you know something about Smitty, he will shut that shit down. He does not play when it comes to the support of Black women. And for anyone who doesn't understand, who doesn't get it, this is what we're talking about. On a daily basis, we are profiled, we are harmed, we are cosplayed, we are misappropriated, right? They want to be us, but they damn for sure don't want to be in solidarity with us. They want to cosplay our features, okay, but they don't want to hold hands with us. And so for you to run that down, I just wanted you to know before you dropped how incredibly important and affirming that was to me as a Black woman. I just wanted you to know that.
Ashe, sister, thank you. Look, my mama is a Black woman, and that's been my biggest cheerleader. She's been the biggest person in my life. And I remember I was online, and because my mom is suffering from not really dementia but Alzheimer's. And I told people, I said it's hard to be around her because I'm watching my Superman deteriorate. You know what I mean? To watch your Superman lose his powers, and I'm getting emotional right now. That's my Superman. From the time I was young, I watched a Black woman. I tell people I grew up poor, but I didn't know I was poor because Superwoman made sure I didn't feel poor. And for him to come up here and disrespect Black women, I'll take care. I'm out.
All right, brother. Much love to you, bro. We love you, man. Whew. Yeah. I don't even know what to say after that. But that was very powerful. I know I saw some people in the comments asking if I would clip that. I absolutely will. Absolutely. That was a lot. And as a content creator, there's a line between exposing what I see as harmful behavior, right? So that we have the tools to be able to disarm it, but the harmful behavior being so harming that it causes trauma to the folks that are listening. And so I apologize for those that where it went too far. Again, it's an educational opportunity, but sometimes the education can go into harm. So I acknowledge that as well. But at the same time, obviously, we were blessed with that incredible response and the contributions of those on the panel. But I absolutely will clip that. Go ahead, feel free if y'all want to jump in and also if y'all want to comment. I'm gonna look and see who we got in the requests.
I see a lot of people that were very emotional. Black women shine today. I'm wiping tears too. I don't know why that took me, but I see a lot of people in the chat. I just want to affirm y'all were part of that experience too, and just shine today. Just relish in that. That just made me feel so incredibly proud. That made me feel some type of way. So I just want to acknowledge y'all in the chat. I saw so many tears and responses and things like that. You were part of that experience as well. So just breathe all that in today. That's who we are. And don't let them take away or efface the beauty and the melanin in our skin and the fullness of our hips and our lips. Just kind of, I know sometimes it can be very difficult, right? Because oftentimes there's this stereotype of the strong Black woman. We're allowed to be soft too. We're allowed to be soft too. So if that moved you and you're wiping your tears, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Sit in that excellence today.
Yeah. I'm so proud of my little brother, Black Cabinet, for coming up and saying what he said. His eloquence is unmatched on this app from my perspective as a Black man. That passion is so real. And it's something to be looked up to for sure from my perspective. So I can't tell you as a person who hosts these conversations how honored I am to have him. At the same time, let me say this because this is also very important. People will time to time ask me, Smitty, do you have a bias? Why do you have so many women on your panel? Because the greatest contributors to my panel have been black women and women of color by far. That's no shade against anybody else, but I am biased. I will admit it to the 1000th degree. Yes, I am biased. Black women and women of color respect my rules the most. They support the platform the most. They have built up the platform the most. So yeah, at this point, I'm damn for sure biased. And I do not apologize at all about it, period.
Y'all hear that Denzel come out a little bit there? I just want to point that out. You hear that Denzel?
Yes.
I am
Sorry,
biased.
I am.
But don't apologize, fam. I love it. I just
Listen, it's a
want to clock
fact.
it. I want to clock that Denzel came out.
I
Let me
just wanted
welcome up the new panel. I'm perfect. What would you like to share with the panel
just
today?
something quick and simple, but I barely heard the end of the rhetoric from the other individual
Mm-hmm.
before the passionate guy. It filled my heart, but before he started in, with his description and
Mm-hmm.
what we mean to him. But it always amazes me that the other kind has the audacity to be able to say some of the most humiliating, dehumanizing things about a species. And I say we are magic. We are the magical species of the world. He might not honor it, but my grandmother's 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 grandmother is the reason his grandmother is here.
Mm.
And it just always is behooving to hear how they can stand with confidence and humiliate our race with their
Mm-hmm.
full chest as though they are doing God's work.
Mm.
And so for me, it was just fulfilling to hear someone have such passion and endearment genuinely for
Mm-hmm.
our species. With that, I will land with, I'm sad that more of his type don't enunciate or articulate how they feel about us. I understand that there was a whole societal movement to get the men that share our skin tones, because our skin tone, I will say it plural, because our skin tones are many. But I will, it's really disheartening to know that there was a social movement
Mm-hmm.
to get men to distance themselves from our magic. And a lot of them did.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you do hear someone say things eloquently with passion, but just wholeheartedness
Mm-hmm.
to embrace, uplift, and show their endearment to who we are and who we have always been. It's just enlightening, and it shows that even though society has put up a mile-long wall or tried to, some people walked around it
Mm-hmm.
in order to stick with us. And I just wish that other melanated men would
Mm-hmm.
know that it's okay to do the same, because sometimes I think that society and just society in a whole has given, I don't even know how to articulate this part, but they've given Black men a dehumanizing factor that
Mm-hmm.
maybe overcomes them themselves when they do want to stand up for us, when they
Mm-hmm.
do want to uplift their mothers, when they do want to uplift Aunt Sally that lived down the street and held the neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I just appreciate him. However, it always is astounding for me to hear someone with their full chest feel like they have the right
Mm-hmm.
to downplay, degrade, and dehumanize someone that they don't even know. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, sweetie, when you look far back enough in your lineage, you will find us.
Mm-hmm.
And I land my plane. Thank you for
Yeah,
allowing me up.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely. That
actually
was
going to work, so.
okay.
But
Now,
thank
please,
you so
please,
much. You can
please, if
drop.
you don't mind, if you got a minute, do you have a minute, or do you need me to drop you right
Oh,
now?
no. I have time.
Okay,
I have
cool,
time.
cool. No, what you said was very touching. Thank you, Hector. I appreciate you, brother. It was very touching. And again, as a host, sometimes, again, I try to balance the educational value of the content, right, with the lives, along with, the fact that people say harmful things, and the emotion in your voice and what you said was very, very powerful. I'm blessed that we can have Black Cabinet come through and say what he said. But at the same time, again, I want to make sure we are highlighting all of the comments that the four women on this panel said as well. I don't want to lose, as powerful as those comments were from him, I don't want to lose what's been said by these women as well today, because they have said many, many powerful things, many, many enlightening things as well. So, again, I'm gonna open it up. So please feel free to just jump in. Whoever would like to jump in and say whatever they would like.
Yeah, I wanted to say something because I'm actually gonna drop down. I'll be back on my other page after this, y'all. Y'all gotta stop reporting me, you meanies. But anyway, I'm really glad that Black Cabinet said what he said. I'm angry that neither of the men who needed that message were willing to stay long enough to listen to it, especially Tony. And I think that's the problem, is like, it's very odd that they have no problem going up against Black women and women of color in these conversations, but the idea of getting corrected by a Black man, like, they're not going to stand for it, right? So I don't know. I think it's disgusting. I do think that this is what I wanted to say before it started getting like so in the weeds, and why we were talking about DEIA. I can't even talk today, y'all. Anyway, you know what I mean. DEIA. But like it deterred from the whole conversation that Smitty was trying to have, but it was still an important conversation, right? And this is my issue about the rabbit hole he was going down, is that people are confusing affirmative action with DEIA. It is a component of it. This idea that it's only about hiring practices, this is something that is spread by white supremacists and the right wing, and thinking that, oh, what it's doing is, hiring unqualified people of color or whatever, when white men should be able to get those positions, okay? And that's not what it is. What's so important is to understand like the full context of what these types of initiatives do. Like I stated, it has to do with like funding for different organizations and communities. It has to do with accessibility for people, but also it talks about cultural competency. And like I spoke a year ago at a Black and Brown Unity rally led by the Indiana Black Legislative Caucus, because we had our governor trying to match everything Trump was doing at the federal level, and started in on immediately signing executive orders that were anti-DEI. And so we were talking about this because DEI is what allows people like me as educators to go into classrooms and talk about population-specific culture and history. So it's the reason I can go into a classroom and explain, the first Thanksgiving never happened, or what's the difference between race and ethnicity, and where do Latinos fall under that, or how Christopher Columbus never actually made it to the continental U.S., and things like that. It's what allows Black educators to go in and speak from direct experience on Black history and things like that. But it's also about how we create cultural competency in every other realm of our life. So like when I was doing work for the Native American population who was facing high substance abuse rates, but they also had a very low success rate when it came to peer recovery. That's because almost all the models that are out there are faith-based, and they're Judeo-Christian faith-based. And so those of us who fall outside of that often don't get culturally competent care or services because they don't want to take into consideration they don't want to take into consideration our culture and what's different. This happens all the time with Black and Indigenous populations. So DEIA initiatives also work to that end to be able to make it a more equitable society for us. And so I think sometimes when we get too in the weeds about the hiring aspect of that, that's why that man was so ignorant and couldn't understand how Black men have been able to benefit from these initiatives and how multiple people. Now, is there some truth to it that white people still find a way to get in and benefit from initiatives that are supposed to be there for other people? Yes. But he didn't even focus on that. He didn't even focus on, white women and how they benefit from this. He was going straight after Black women. And that is absolutely disgusting. It's like, I don't know. It was hard for me to listen to. And so I'm very happy that Black Cabinet came up here and said what he said, because no matter what Kim and Nichelle and I and Swan were saying, it was like this man was not willing to listen to a woman's perspective whatsoever. And y'all really need to address that in your personal lives. But I wanted to say that and say shout out to all the fabulous people. I love all of y'all. And I need to go take something for my hangover. I love y'all.
All right. Love you, fam. I'll see you soon. We'll let you go. All right. Yeah, I see folks talking about misogynoir. I mean, that was I just don't understand how, and I typically don't marinate on these kind of things, but today I'm feeling a little different. I'm always, and maybe I shouldn't be, maybe this is on me, just always a little like, I cannot believe that these people believe this. Like, how do you believe, it's wild it's really wild to me. And it's so sad. It's so sad that, as a Black man, you could just completely just eviscerate Black women when your mama was a Black woman. Just starting from that. And your mama had you, 9 months of sweat and tears and suffering to birth you. And just from that point.
They just seemed angry. If I'm being honest. They just seem like Daniel himself admitted he came from a live and was pissed off. He should have did what Swan said. He should have drank some water and took a minute and not came up on the panel. Because he came up here full chest, ready to swing on anybody that he could talk to. Because I don't know this whole, why don't y'all tell me why you hate Black Americans? When not one person on here was talking about hate. Not one person said anything hateful to him or about Black people. Because most of the people that are on here, like, that was a little weird that he came on here and decided to project the energy he had for them here.
Right. But again, but my point, Kim, was, okay, well, then now you got Tony talking all the ish. She was talking and he was completely quiet. Like that's where I was like, I'm not, I was already not connecting from I agree with you. But then now you got a chance to defend Black women and
Smitty, where do you think I don't know, my brain is just on fire right now. Where do you think this hatred comes from Black men? Maybe it's not even a question we can answer today, because this isn't new, by the way. Right. This isn't new, by the way.
No,
just for people
new.
who don't, this ain't new, right? And I mean, I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole. I'm not. My brain goes to, okay, there's a pain point there that is causing you to act a certain kind of way. And what is coming out of your mouth, I fundamentally disagree with. But I'm wanting to know, a lot of people were putting in the chat, like, who hurt you? Daniel is young, loud, and wrong. Tony is older. Again, I'm going to keep emphasizing the fact that he voted for Trump, right? And this was a whole conversation about Black men specifically. And Don Lemon was doing like on the ground, like interviews and asking, specifically Black men, and it affected all demographics. Now, I mean, we get into a whole conversation about, Black men and men of color, by the way, not wanting to vote for a woman, not wanting to vote for a Black woman. There was some of that, but Don Lemon, to my surprise, heard a lot of those pain points from Black men. We feel like we've been left behind, and again, misplaced. I'm not trying to side with him. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but for you to form your mouth and say something like that. He kept focusing on the fact that black men got left behind. Black men, black men, black men.
Hmm.
And I was looking up the stats. So DEI, by far, this is not a debatable fact. DEI, by far, has benefited white women. By far. So we don't even have to argue or debate that. Okay. It benefited white women. But then the stats start to get murky when we're talking about black men, right? And I'm just being honest here. The stats start to get a little convoluted right there. So I don't know. It's just a thought that I have in my head. Like
Yeah.
where is this coming from? Because it's prominent.
Yeah. I mean, I'll address it from my perspective, and then I know Swan will probably say it in a far better way than me, or I'm sure add far more perspective than I can. But I think it comes from a partial deconstruction, right? And what do I mean by that? Partial deconstruction, meaning that many of us black men, we will deconstruct the stereotypes that are, laid upon us, but then not deconstruct the stereotypes that are laid upon black women, meaning that, black men are lazy, black men are this, we can't speak, blah, blah. We will deconstruct that, but we will hold in place the same nonsense that's been perpetuated around black women, and we keep that same belief. So we just only deconstruct for ourselves, right? Which is also why there's problems, and a lot of ethnic groups do this too, right? It's like you take one piece out, but you keep the other piece in. And so again, I've always said it's not enough to deconstruct just the stereotypes that you have regarding your group. You have to deconstruct the stereotypes that are submitted to the other groups as well, because those stereotypes play against each other, right? The hyper-sexualization of black men play against the infantilization of the Asian community. They play against each other. And so when these folks talk to Asian people, they be like, you better watch out for that big black man over there, right? And then when they come to us, oh, you better watch out for that quote unquote smart, intelligent Asian man. Right. It's all to play. All of those things come against each other to play and perpetuate the caste system. And so I think a lot of brothers, unfortunately, again, they partially deconstruct, but they don't deconstruct enough. That's my opinion. Now, I think there's other individual aspects of it, too. Of course, everybody's different. But I think that's a piece of it, at least from what I've seen. We'll go Swan and we'll go to Unperfect, and then we're probably going to wrap up here in a few minutes.
Yeah, the only reason why I had dropped earlier, Smitty, I was tired of him, but I also saw Naquan in the chat, and I knew Naquan wanted to come up here and have some words in addition to Black Cabinet. But I do appreciate Black Cabinet saying what he said. I don't think that people realize enough all of the efforts that Black women have put into just being 10 toes down for our community ever since we were, taken from the west coast of the continent. When he talks about that history, like women who were on these ships, especially if you were pregnant, your shackles were loosened, right? You needed to care for the babies. So we were responsible for starting and planning and essentially facilitating a lot of the revolts that happened. And we've been doing this ever since. But outside of all of that, trying to bring that to wrapping that up around to today and what we're seeing in society. I don't know if people know this, but Steve Bannon, he made it his mission to try and persuade Black men to become MAGA. That didn't happen for women, Black women. No one was trying to sway us to become MAGA. But I think understanding that Steve Bannon, him being a YT supremacist, right? And knowing that white supremacy calls for the dismantling of the Black family and the dismantling of Black community, period, and unification amongst Black people across the diaspora, because it scares them. It scares them. It makes them petrified. So they do create these narratives. And this is why I said scapegoating is a part of the preservation of white supremacy and fascism, right? They've been able to do this with older Black men that are my age, and young Black boys. And this is something I think that we really dropped the ball on when it comes to our community. I think that if we understand this whole red pill movement, anybody can become radicalized by the red pill movement. Anybody can. We know that it only benefits young white men who are wealthy, right? Who are essentially set up to truly receive those benefits. But that indoctrination has to be forced upon everybody in order for it to be successful. And I think, unfortunately, Black men are at an intersection in society to where they're being socialized and they're being told that they have to be like the most powerful and successful white man, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we know that that's not going to happen. Why? Because Black masculinity is the antithesis to white masculinity in society. Their biggest fear is genetic annihilation. It always has been their biggest fear. This is why, trigger warning to the audience, after a Black man would have been put into a tree, they would have been castrated. There was no need to castrate a Black man after he was put into a tree. He was already unalived. But the reason why they did that was because they wanted to make sure they truly controlled everything. And I don't think a lot of people think about this enough. If you understand the ties between Steve Bannon, Nick Fuentes, the gaming community, red pill content, how you end up consuming red pill content after you watch a couple workout videos, right? The fact that young black boys and Black men are seeing this content 24/7, right? These algorithms are being formed based on the things that they're watching, right? They're never turning it off. The indoctrination today is in the palm of their hands. And I don't think that people have been paying enough attention to this. Y'all been hearing me talk about this on my platform all day, every day, because it is such a problem for us. And this is not just something where, it's like, oh, well, he's probably got mommy issues or something along those lines. I think that people really need to take a much deeper look into how this happens and how they've been conditioned. Their intersection, being socialized in a patriarchal society, we don't have that pressure as Black women. This is why you see more Black men that are anti-Black or lean into their anti-Blackness and less willing to deconstruct than Black women because of how we're socialized. And that's something that not enough people are paying attention to. Now, here's the thing. You got a Black man, right, who's being conditioned in a patriarchal society where he's got to achieve, the highest success possible, but he's not going to be able to achieve that because white men don't want to allow that. Now you got a Black man who's upset, right? He's upset and he's angry. And who is he going to take that anger out on? It's going to be projected back onto his community, right? When you have a Black man that has taken the time to deconstruct these things, right? That can see these things happening in society and understands not going down that dangerous path. When you talk to him, We have a conversation with Smitty, we know with Smitty. We have a conversation with Black Cabinet, we know with Black Cabinet, right? When we have a conversation with Solid, we know, right? The way that they function and the way that they navigate these discussions is completely different than the men, right? That don't understand the importance of deconstructing. And I think that that's the issue. And I'm just going to say this before I land. If you have young Black boys that are in your life, whether you are their parent, you are their aunt, their uncle, their mentor, whatever the case is, you've got to make sure you are paying attention to this. You have to make sure that you are paying attention to what they're consuming online. You got to make sure you're paying attention to how they're behaving when they're amongst their peers. And this is everybody. Yes, all children we should pay attention to. But when I tell you there is an active effort to try and whitewash young Black men, because if they can do that, then they can keep a community disconnected and they can continue to benefit off of a community. They will do so.
Yep.
They will do so. It is crucial. And on the flip side of that, I've never in my life heard anybody lay out the things that Black women have done historically the way that Black Cabinet did today. It took me a long time to come off of mute. I've never in my life heard anybody lay out all of the contributions that Black women have had, right? When it comes to rejecting white supremacy, the way that he did.
I agree.
Never in my life have I ever heard that before. Never. And I guarantee you there are things that he said that most people in this room didn't even know was a thing. And the reason why I'm saying this aspect of the conversation is because there's got to be a connection, right? Pay attention to these young Black boys. Don't let them go down that path of being sucked into patriarchy, red pill, the manosphere, and everything and all of those things. But also highlight the things that young Black women and girls are doing. I can't tell you how many times we have been invisible in a room. I can't tell you how many times we have tried to speak up, and we only want to see the best for society. I told both of these black men today, you can feel how you feel. Even your anger towards us, whatever frustration that you have, I still don't wish these things upon you because it doesn't make anything better. But they couldn't even hear me when I said that. They couldn't even hear me when I said that. They couldn't hear me at all, at all. I said, even though I disagree with you, I vehemently reject the things that you are saying. I still wouldn't wish this upon you. And they could not hear me when I said that. They couldn't. Right? So I think everybody who is a black person who looks like me and cares about this community, it's really time for people to wake up and to pay attention at the ways in which we are actively, right, being divided for the sake of white supremacy being preserved. And I'll just
Yeah. Let me real quick, because I have a quick emergency I just saw in the chat. Hey, my favorite Haitian. How are you, fam? My bad if I missed you. So I can't have another mod revoke. Cause Lord help me, we barely survived the last one, boy. I thought the spirit of Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines was coming from my account, so we can't have that. So real quick, so that was one. Two, I'm telling you, Swan, you nailed it. What I have noticed on this app, and then I'll go to Unperfect, was or it has been this kind of, it's not, and it's black women, of course, but it's also the LGBTQ plus IA community and other marginalized communities that seem to be really, really looked down upon. And to your point, when you were saying that, I was like, yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. Because, unfortunately, we had, someone go after James Baldwin's rage yesterday with a slur on the panel yesterday. And it is this consistent degrading of these different communities, which is very, very tragic to see. And so absolutely. I'm perfect. And then we'll go to Nichelle, and then we'll go down to Kim, and then we'll probably close it out, you guys. I'm perfect. If you want to say anything else, go ahead.
Okay, so there are a couple points that I want to make. One is, I'm sorry, I don't know who the name of the person that was just speaking, but I'll kind of piggyback off of a few things that she had mentioned. One is castration. They have been castrating black men for eons. George Washington Carver, he was born in like 1865, 70, somewhere around there. He was sold to a white family, and they castrated him as a child. They knew that he was a prodigy. George Washington Carver, if you guys don't know, he created all types of things, paints. He was a pioneer in a lot of the things that we still use today, mayonnaise, just different. But he was a child prodigy, and so there's always been a mission to, for one, eliminate us. And like, the United States always says that they go after countries who do like I don't know if this word is allowed on TikTok, but so I'll say it like this, a genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the United States goes after countries who do those things. However, the United States has put forth several silent genocidal situations for black people to live in and try to go through. Does everybody understand what I'm
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's never ended. So I'll go back to George Washington Carver. He died in about 1940, 1945-ish, which means that he lived into the the relatively, there's people still alive from the 1940s right now. So he died then, but they had castrated him as a child. The white family said that they castrated him only to make sure he did not reproduce with one of their white children, because they didn't want him around melanated people. So he would no longer be able to be around melanated people. Listen to all these aspects that And these are Christians. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't want him to be around melanated people. They castrated him as a child, no anesthesia. Could you imagine? But then they still made him produce and use his intelligence to produce things for their family, which they ended up, receiving compensation for a lot of his inventions. So he lives till 1943. I meet a gentleman in Gary, Indiana, a few years ago. My car broke down. He was a mechanic. We start talking about similar issues, and he starts telling me that he was about 18 in the 1960s. He said, and when I was young, Black men used to stand on the corner and hope to get jobs. He said, but they couldn't. He said, but the narrative on the news was that Black men was lazy and didn't want to work. He said, now I had 3 sisters. He said, and they all worked. He said, now they could only do secretarial jobs. One filed a lot. One, I think, worked for like an upcoming phone company. And the only thing that she could do was their paperwork. She couldn't answer one of them could answer the phones. But anyways, menial positions. He said, and they ended up being the only people that could bring home money. He said, but I'm telling you, every morning he said, so I ended up teaching myself cars. He said, and that's how I became a mechanic. And so my point in saying that, so this guy was 18 in the 1960s. George Carver lived to the 1945-ish time when this man would have possibly been being born. That shows that there has always been a lineage to disconnect, disenfranchise, and distort our families. That's number one, our family unit, because men want to feel like men. But when you don't give a man an opportunity, he's either going to take one or he is going to start looking to the other races to be a part of what they say is greatness. And so it's always been systemically a mental a mind play. I'll say it like that. A mind play for our people, but let alone men. Well, who do they take it and go against is our women. And one of the people have mentioned how the gentleman that was saying such the rude stuff was willing to argue with a Black woman, but as soon as a man came up, he exited the conversation.
Well, to be fair, real quick, I dropped him on Perfect, but
Okay.
but he was far more respectful to me overall too, though. But yeah, to your point.
And so to me, there's a reason for that. And again, it goes, you guys were always, society, would term y'all as big, strong, and could possibly, maybe beat one of them people up. We, on the other hand, are still women. No matter how much they want to say we're masculine or whatever, we're still women. They have no problem beating down their own women. So why wouldn't they beat down on us? And how could they stand and face somebody that stands tall as or taller than they are? Even if we are just on, social media, you're still a Black man. And so that stigma still hangs around you. But my point is, racism has been woven so deep, and society's attempts to constantly play with our minds. We were not supposed to look into history. They always said, if you want a Black person to know something, not know something, put it in a book. Because apparently we all didn't read. They don't remember when they wouldn't let us read for hundreds of years. But they will say, if you want a Black person to not know something, put it in a book. However, we do read. We actually read quite well. Even though we had to sneak and read in the beginning, we did it quite well. And so that has always been what they knew was going to be their demise. To me, the white population is so scared that we will turn around with our loving arms and one day treat them as though they've treated us, they can't project anything but dehumanizing tactics, whitewashing tactics, and tactics that will make us disengage with who we truly are in order for us to keep being, like the Bible says, forgiving.
Yeah.
Come back with open arms, and things like that. And so the last thing I'm going to say is I put a post up on my page about Michelle Obama and watching Becoming a few weeks ago. If you want to know about racism, I have about 1,500 comments on there. You should see the white people's responses to a comment that they never had to look at my post. They could have scrolled right on by. I don't even know how I made it to whichever TikTok showed my post on their pages, but it's horrifying. And I was telling my daughter not too long ago, I said, could you imagine truly being a human like Michelle Obama is a human and reading? Now I'm a nobody, and all I did was mention her name, but look at all the vile, hateful, and I'm sure these come from Christians, people that, they hoopty-rah around Jesus all week long. But look at all these comments, and it will just amaze you. And the majority of them are men. And I don't understand it, but the majority of the comments come from men. I am a woman. Most black men will not even argue with a woman. They don't look at that as manly.
Sis, I gotta correct you, sis. I gotta correct you. Sorry, auntie in the house. Don't ever say you're a nobody.
Oh no! I mean, compared to Michelle Obama,
no, honey, no. You are just as equal and amazing and brilliant as Michelle Obama. I get where you're going with that, but please don't ever say that you're a nobody. Please don't ever say you're a nobody.
And I guess my point is, why are you over here on my post? I don't mean anything to you guys. So what would, and you guys took over my post. I have about 500, comments from just our people. But my point is, it was majority men, white men, that say the most cruel and vile things about this post that I put up about another amazing brown-skinned woman. It's like it was woven into their DNA. And I always say that, people call these people American. I always call them English, because really the people that colonized were really English. A lot of them, they come from that land, over the Caucasus Mountains and that type of stuff. And America's a new country, per se. That's how I feel. It's just my opinion. But I always say the English that are here come from the English over there. And they're still the most hateful people because they have their own, set of racism. But the point is, they still come from that vile, evil, manipulative rhetoric that they came from a whole nother land and they brought it over here. But I land my plane with that. It's just sad, but it's amazing that them men can feel like men, even coming at a woman. I don't care what color she is. I'm a woman. What are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I hear you. I feel you. Let's go to Nichelle, and we're going to go to Kim. Kim will get the last word. Because Swan, did you get your last comment, Swan? We got you, right?
Yeah. Oh,
yes, Swan. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I'll do the last word. We're going to go out on a positive vibe tonight. Go ahead on, Kim.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll give you 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kim. Anything else you want to say?
No, I was going to say, Nichelle, you can have it. I don't have anything else to say. Everybody's been saying what needed to be said, so I'm
perfect. Perfect, sis. Okay, we're going to go out on a positive vibe. Listen, Auntie Shell in the house. Actually, Auntie to some of y'all, but Mima to most. I just found out my son and his amazing wife, are having a boy. We just found out they're having a boy.
Congratulations.
So when Swan was over here talking about black boys, yes, I feel that and I see Black Cabinet is back in here. I just want to tell you, you have literally, I'm on a high right now. Like, after everything he said, I wouldn't listen to no other negative mess. I'm not. You have affirmed my blackness. You have affirmed my beautiful blackness. You have affirmed my melanated skin. And I'm telling you, and then to find out she's bringing in another beautiful black boy into this world. I'm just thrilled about that. It got me thinking about this song. Keep your head up, y'all. Don't believe that mess. You should leave them, cause sister, you don't need. We don't need them. You know what makes me unhappy? You know what makes him unhappy? And leave a young mother to be a pastor. And since we all came from a what? Woman and I came from a woman. I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? Time to heal. Be real to our women. We don't have a race of babies that will hate the ladies that make the babies. And since a man can't make one, you can't make them. He has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So will the real men get up? Will the real men get up? Come on, Smitty. Keep your head up, girl.
That's right.
Keep your head up, girl. Keep that beautiful C4, whatever. I forgot. Look, I'm so excited right now. Listen, keep your head up. Okay? Don't listen to these people. Don't listen to these haters. Do not listen to them. Keep your head up. And that's where I end it for today.
That's right. Absolutely. As Dr. King said, a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. So, absolutely. Y'all stay strong. That was a way to end it. I like it. I like it. Y'all have a great day. We will be back tomorrow. As y'all can see, sometimes I have specific plans for where I think the live is going to go. But today, this is what we needed. I appreciate everybody for the contributions. The lovely women on the panel, please follow them. Thank y'all for rewarding their emotional labor. It was a lot today. Congratulations, Nichelle, on that announcement that you mentioned. Kim, Swan, and Unperfect, thank you so much for coming up as well. Much love to everybody.
Thank you.
Y'all take care. Absolutely, of course.
Thank you. And thank you to the chat who helped Smitty hit his live goal. I really want to acknowledge the chat today. Y'all, listen, we got to celebrate that. They came through today, hit that live goal. Y'all are amazing. Smitty could not do this without the love and support of y'all and the amazing community. Y'all always point out negative comments to me or some of the mods so we can keep the chat going. Y'all are amazing. I see all your comments and your chats and gifting the panel. Y'all are amazing. Could not do it without y'all.
Much love. You guys stay safe. Take care. Love you guys. Stay safe.
Hello?
Hi, can I speak to Pete, please?
Yeah, I'm speaking.
Your name's Pete?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's up, Pete?
Hi. Who is this?
This is Jubal from Brook and Jubal in the Morning. How you doing?
Wait, what?
This is Jubal from Brook and Jubal in the Morning. It's a radio show. Have you ever heard of it?
Okay.
That doesn't answer my question. Have you heard of it before?
What's going on?
I'm calling you today because one of our listeners emailed us about you. Her name is Patricia, and you met her at a bar a little while ago.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you remember
All right.
her?
Patricia told us about the night that she met you and said that she's been trying to get a hold of you, but you're not answering any of her texts or phone calls.
Well, yeah, I mean, what she did was pretty rude.
Was she super drunk?
Yeah, she was pretty tipsy, and it just kept going.
How bad did it get?
I mean, it got pretty bad.
Did she puke on you?
No, there was no bodily fluids.
Oh. See, I'm already thinking, well, then that's better than I pictured for you guys.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Is that the reason you're not calling her back? Just she was too hammered?
No, I mean, we were talking. She told me this story about how some guy ditched her, and I felt pretty bad for her. So I was hanging out with her, getting to know her, and I guess she had reached a point where she was ready to go home, and she asked me to call her an Uber, and she left when the Uber came.
Okay. All this sounds pretty tame so far, Pete. I'm not outraged yet.
Were you just hanging out with her because you felt bad?
No, I mean, she was cute, and we were having a fun time.
Okay.